Hello everyone. Someday I'll have the audio mixing just right, but I think I'm getting better. So today we're going to be playing Surviving Mars. It's a simulation game where you can build a Mars colony. And with me being a foreign terrestrial myself, the thought of humans being able to explore their own universe is pretty amazing to me. And their thoughts and dreams behind it are very prevalent in all of their media. So let's go ahead and get into it. So I am going to use a couple mods. They are available on the Steam page for free. I use Auto Explore for the research rover and Auto Gather for the transport rover, just because that's how real rovers would work. They would have automated systems that would allow them to operate with minimal oversight. The lag wasn't too bad in yesterday's video, so I think I'm going to try to do the full 3 hours. And as always, I am watching on my secondary device, so if there is extreme lag, I'll still be able to communicate with everyone. So feel free to message me in the chat, and you can get a better live response from me in the chat. You'll probably hear me there before you hear me on screen. So right now we're just waiting for the loading to finish. It does take a while, but once you're in it, there's not a lot of loading screens, so that makes it nice. We're gonna keep the sponsor the same. Let's see here for our commander profiles. Each commander profile has a different perk. I think I like Hydro Engineer. It helps us preserve our water. Let's get a fancy logo. I like Final Countdown, but just because I also love that song in real life. I'm a big 80s song fan, and I will listen to 80s songs all day. We'll do a random mystery. We'll just have random rivals that we're competing with. And we won't mess with the game. We'll leave it blank. And we're going to go ahead and leave it with the default loadout. And now we just need to select a landing spot. Each landing spot has perks and threats. Personally, I like to plant myself around Elysium Beta. It has plentiful resources and low threats, and I prefer to chill when I game. If you kind of float your cruiser around, you can see different placements of resources and threats. And it seems here the default is a good place to start. I love their loading screen graphics. They're really pretty to look at. Here's a little rover friend. Big fan of the Mars rover right now. Always have been, always will be. Hopefully we won't wind up killing the humans like we did in our last stream. Which of course is the secret you kept, because you're my very good space friends. So I'm just testing out my chat box here, and it does look like it's working. I prefer to keep my interfaces clear and minimal so you guys can see what's happening in the backgrounds. I moved my interface today. Yesterday I didn't test out the layout, and because of that, you couldn't see a lot of my actions or the menus. Because my big thumb shape was covering most of everything. Okay. Please just let me play. I know you failed to save. My laptop that I'm streaming from is a bit of a potato. It's Ham's laptop, and she's had it for years. And it was old when she got it. So everything runs just a little slow. And it does not like advanced processes. Unfortunately, it looks like the game froze. Let's go ahead and try this again. Okay, we're just going to sit over here for a minute. The reason why Surviving Mars has music in it that I don't want to get copyright struck over, and since it never saves my preferences, I have to cut out the audio every time I start the game. By the way, we have an intro video now. It's very simple, but I think it gets the point across. I never really pay for anything on the channel. I create everything myself. By the way, if you follow me on my social medias over on Twitter and Instagram, you can see some of my practice planets that I've been making in Procreate lately. And there are some things I'm really proud of. So unfortunately, the last art stream got cut off. And so the last hour of video was chopped. So I'm going to be redoing a system, my home system, from the start on this coming Monday. And I think that's not a bad thing because I've practiced a lot and I think I can make it better than what we had originally done on stream. Okay, round 2. Let's go ahead and not add the mods in case that's what's killing everything. I'm also sorry for the staticky voice input. I am in a space terrarium and it has a lot of feedback noise right now. But maybe in the future, that's something that we can get fixed. Okay, let's get back to where we were. Hydro engineer, final countdown, everything the same. Everything default, and Elysium beta. I love this sky right here behind the fireworks. There's nothing more satisfying than flying past some really nice space dust. And I'm not certain, but this bright star could be Earth, and if that's really what they thought of when they made it, then that's pretty neat. As you can tell, I am playing with the terraforming expansion. So later on in the game, we can start bringing in plant life, so our people don't have to live in the domes anymore. So the gaming streams don't seem to be lagging as badly as the art and music streams. In fact, the latency is within a few seconds. And that's great news. Okay, it's actually letting us start. So it seems like the mods were not being supported. Let's get rid of all of our notifications here and find a nice landing spot. Let's go ahead and do some orbital scans. As you can see here, it has a pre-scan slot for us that does have concrete in it. So let's go ahead and scan some places. Okay, so these were auto-scanned, but now we can select a queue of processing scans, and we can do up to 9. And let's get our rocket and find a place to put it down. Rotate it, and I think here's nice. Woo! We're landed! By the way, human spaceships are so different. Galopian pods just kind of look like chicken eggs floating in space. I forgot to adjust the audio in the opening. Alright. Let's see if I can let you guys in. I'm hearing some of this. Okay. Now we're in our beginning states. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our Explorer. And let's go ahead and explore some anomalies. Let's also see about collecting some metal. And then let's move our commander and drones closer to the cement. Okay, and then let's get a little storage depot. We'll put it pretty close to halfway. And they're off. Now the first thing we want to do as far as production is get down a concrete extractor. This is going to be important for building materials, and it is going to need a power source. And I'm going to go ahead and build a solar panel. Let's speed it up. So this game has some really great music to it. Usually, before you could get radio stations from the mod community, and of course my favorite was the 80s playlist, and they had a Fallout songs playlist that I really enjoyed, but they closed down those mods in favor of paid radio DLCs. So that was a sad day. Okay, so the concrete extractor is built, and the solar panel is active. You can see that it auto-connected. And let's get a debris pile designated. And looks like our transport is done. We're going to help these drones. Since they're gathering these, we'll just have our gatherer go into a different pile. And I'm realizing now that the research rover, this isn't actually a research icon. If we plant a dome here in the future, within the radius of this icon, it'll give us a research boost to all research-related buildings in the dome. Okay, let's find a nice central place to put our hub for our drones. This one's a prefab, so it doesn't take any resources. And then we'll get a sensor tower connected to it. This will let us know of incoming meteor showers or impact objects. And then of course they're going to need a power source. So let's select this generator And we'll put it right here. And since the corner's close to these two, it should auto-connect without us needing to place down power cables. So as far as extractors go and the production of materials, a lot of the factories need people to be on the planet in order to function. So things like metal, rare metal production, polymers, parts can't begin without human presence. But what can be done is a fuel refinery. However, you do need to research it. So we're going to go into our research menu. And something that helps keep this game fresh is that the order of the researchable items is slightly randomized. So you can see, due to us having the hydro engineer selected as our commander profile, we were able to unlock a special spire in the start and have a boost on the research of this object. So since it's already started, let's go there. It looks like we're doing good on latency. Lag is down to minimal. That makes me so excited. Okay, let's see what we got here. I do like optimized transport. We do want our ships to have a better cargo capacity for the future. We don't need deep scan quite yet, but we'll go ahead and get it on there. Let's move it down to lowest priority. Life from Mars helps us get a boost in colonists, so we can leave everything at this point for now. Terraforming stuff we won't really need until the future. Let's go ahead and get this closed out. These are our life support buildings. Right now, we won't use these until we get our dome down. And we do have a prefab standalone dome that can function completely on its own without a water source, because it has a water generator on it. And it also comes with its first power generator. So let's take advantage of this little research buff and try to find a place to set down the stone. And it doesn't look like it's really possible yet. In the future, we can get a terrain altering rover. So for now, we're just going to place it near our drone and our landing pad, assuming we can find some flat land. Okay, it won't let us. It's saying it's too early because of the supplies required in using this dome. Though this dome is a standalone, and the message doesn't really apply. Oh, it finally rotated after 90 times of pressing the button. Okay. Let's just let our drones collect resources for now. Let's check our resource capacities here. So it is completely unloaded. So this little platform is enough to store things right now. Let's go ahead and get an independent concrete storage because that'll load up pretty quickly. And we'll put it close to the concrete factory so the drones don't have to travel far. And each of these has a minimum desired amount of resources. So drones will automatically transport concrete from this area to this area until the desired amount is filled. Okay, so we just got a story pop-up, and I'm not sure if you're able to hear the narrator, so I'll just go ahead and read some of this. It says they've located a metal-rich deposit, and that we can now mine from there in the future. So let's go ahead and pause it. Get our research rover selected. Let's go scan some other anomalies. So it looks like that's the only other one we have unlocked right now. Let's check on our resource rover. It's full. And since the metal is full here, let's get a independent metal deposit. And then have this guy unload. This is why I prefer to use the auto mods for the researcher and for the collector. It allows you to turn it on and off because it's just kind of micromanaging, and in late game it's really tedious to keep switching between the colony organization aspects and the rover functions. So we scanned an anomaly. Now our random rivals on the planet are also trying to achieve these first. It'll give you research points, but if your rival gets to one of these milestones first, it permanently locks the research benefit from you. Go, rover, go! Let's try our dome again. Okay, this is good. Looks like we're finally able to place it down. Okay, we can place it within our research site buff. So let's go ahead and get that placed down. Since it's a prefab, it won't take resources. Now that we have concrete, let's get a landing pad, and we'll put it here close to the entrance. This will allow the colonists to get to the dome quickly and safely. And it looks like there was some rare metal deposit in the newly scanned area. This icon means that it has a great view, and you can see there's a couple of them around. If you place domes within these buff icons, you can get a mood boost to the colonists. Let's get a generator here for the power and get a storage battery for excess power. And we'll get a couple of those placed up. If you hold shift, you can place multiple domes. That should be good to start. We'll wait for things to be completed building before we set down our power cables. Okay, so you can see it says building's not working, but we know why. It's just the power isn't connected yet. The drone workload is heavy because we don't have a lot of drones right now. And in fact, I'm going to reassign the drones from the ship to the central hub. And looks like we placed that dome just right in its edge of influence, so everything should be taken care of from the central hub. As we were able to complete an area research. Yeah, let's go ahead and get the fungi farm started. So we were the first to construct a dome, so we got 500 points for that. And of course, the life support for this dome is inactive due to inefficient power. So let's speed things up and get this guy to continue to collect resources. And I don't believe our research, yeah, it's not done yet. The rover's still over here. So it looks like they scanned that anomaly. So Explorer AI generates 100 research more. Let's go ahead and move that to the top. Research in this game is one of the greatest resources you'll need because it'll allow you to unlock special upgrades and stuff that boost production or help boost overall well-being for the dome. Okay, let's get one cable placed here. And one placed here. just to make sure all of those get connected once this is constructed. And it looks like we're going to need some more polymer. So let's get a supply pod. Polymer is the rarest resource, and you can't really make it until you've got fuel researched and colonists are on the planet. So, you'll always have to order it from Earth in the beginning. And of course, you can use resources that don't require polymer, but dome buildings especially require polymer. Let's go ahead and get a power battery cluster set up for our concrete production facility. And it looks like this pad is outside the area of influence. So let's move our commander to a place where the drones will start working on the pad. Okay, so now we have an opportunity. Mission HQ on Earth has decided to boost the expansion capabilities of the colony by providing a priority supply pod. It will carry an RC transport rover on board, ready to be used immediately on arrival. Just give it the call, Commander. And we can get the transport or get financial aid. Since you have to manage the transports, and I've never really needed more than one, I'm just going to get the money in the end. And our supply pod is ready to land. I'm going to wait until the pad is available, because if you place your object on the terrain, it kicks up dust and lowers the integrity of the surrounding drones and buildings. And let's go ahead and queue up our scans. Get those a little further down the line. Again, our transport is full, so gotta order him to come unload. So you can create a transportation route. However, I don't like using it for temporary deposits because once that's gone, I don't want it just roaming out and doing nothing. Okay, so we got our pad down. Let's go ahead and land this little pod. And then we can also salvage the pod for metal, though that's not really a problem. Metal is probably the most abundant resource in the start of the game. Now these rockets, we have to wait until it's done refueling to get it off the planet. It automatically fills up a little bit. If you get fuel production down later on in the game, of course this goes significantly faster, and there's also research that makes the rockets require less fuel. And it looks like this one's reading on electronics. So let's get another pod. This time with electronics. So these are all connected to each other. So that's good to go. Now once we get our last electronic bit, we can get this started. Okay, our pod's ready. Go ahead and get that scrap down. Check on our rovers. Since our research rover doesn't have anything to look for, I'm going to pull it back to the hub area for maintenance. Let's look for some more resources for our little transport rover. There's some metal over here. So we'll send them there. Maybe come back around for this file. Okay, so our electricity is now hooked up and ready to go. There is a new anomaly. Let's send our research rover over to scan it. Okay, and let's get some buildings down in this dome. Now there is a spire section. Here in the middle, you can put specialized buildings. I prefer to use the apartment building spire. It gives a lot of house space for a dome. But since we don't have that unlocked, we'll just use our little water reclamation tower, which will be handy because we don't have a water deposit yet, and we have only the 2 moisture evaporators. And then let's get some buildings down. We do need some houses. So let's get a living complex. Maybe look at the different skins. Kind of like the circle pods. And then we need Since we're in the research zone, let's definitely get down a research lab. And then let's get some services put in. Definitely going to need a hospital, a security station, and since we have a pretty small dome, let's get some pretty small buildings to go in. So get a little bar. A diner. A gym. Now, these specialty stores we're not going to use in the beginning because they take up polymers, machine parts, and electronics to run. And those are vital resources in the beginning. Let's get a tiny grocer. And I'm not sure about the casino. It takes up a lot of space. So let's leave it out for now. And then let's look up some dome production buildings. We need a place to grow food. So we'll put it right next to the grocer. Fungal Farms is still being researched. So let's go ahead and hold off on the ranch. Okay, we can't use any of these yet. And we are going to need more residents. So let's get those taken care of. I don't want them to be the same. So let's get a little bit different look on these ones. Now, let's see how many residents. 14 slots. So that'll give us 28. And that's pretty good for the starting. Now let's get some decorations so that the overall mood of the facility is boosted. And let's get a small fountain here between the facilities. And I think that's a pretty good starting point. Now once the production starts on these, we are going to need a decent sized rocket with fresh supplies. So we're going to get some new drones because they deal with maintenance in the dome as well as building new projects. And we're going to bulk up on a bunch of building resources. And we're going to focus on the stuff that we can't get very readily on the planet. Let me reduce this down just so I could get a little more electronics. Okay, let's get this launched. Let's go ahead and get some more solar panels for our concrete facility. Oops, autosave. Okay, so a new anomaly was just finished being researched. And it says here that it unlocked extractor amplification and Mars crowdfunding in the research panel. Let's go ahead and have a look. This will give us more funding. And this will give us an extractor amplification upgrade. Since it also increases power, we won't focus it on this point. Okay, so now we're generating 400 research units per day. Let's see what we want to queue up next. Drone capacity isn't really an issue right now. And the mission could always use money. So we'll queue that up. And let's get our transporter back to work. And bring our research rover back home. Now here in the planet view, I wanted to see who my rivals were. Looks like we've got India, USA, and China. And we can see each of their layouts here. We can spy on them and trade resources with them, as well as boost our relationship with them. However, the resources for everyone is pretty low right now. Okay, and our rocket's still coming in. Let's get a new area queued. There doesn't appear to be a lot of water deposits in this set of the trench. Which wouldn't necessarily be a problem, but the moisture evaporators are a locked technology. So when we build new domes in the future, they'll probably need access to a water resource. Even with moisture evaporators, for the large domes, it's not going to be enough because you can't place them too close or they'll greatly reduce the production value. So you see they need to be placed apart like this in order to be fully productive. Okay, let's see what's going on in the dome. Looks like they're waiting on concrete production for a lot of these. And some of these, they need more specialized resources. But for the most part, it's the concrete. So let's focus on keeping its production on during the night. So we're going to need some more power resources for it. Let's maybe get a wind turbine so we can get 24-hour production. We'll go ahead and set priority high to this because it does need concrete itself. And like I said, lag is down a pretty good place today. So I should be able to see chats relatively close to the actions happening while you're viewing. So it looks like our transport rover is full. Let's go ahead and have them deposit the resources. And our supply rocket is in. So let's get that landed. Okay, so our drones from the commander are covering the storage area, so they will be able to unload everything. Let's go ahead and get some independent storages for the other resource. We don't need a rare metal one. Let's get a polymer storage, electronics, and machine parts, just to catch the overflow from our supply rockets. And we don't really need any of the other storage for now. We're not producing seeds or fuel or rare metals. And there's already a food mat over here. Okay, let's find some more deposits. And once this gets filled up, we won't send our rover out for metal anymore. There is a new anomaly, so let's get our research over. Okay, it's telling us about adding passenger rockets to our roster. We're going to wait until production of the buildings are done here. We also have to wait. Waiting for rocket refueling will take a while. So let's actually set up a second landing pad. It's good to have one anyway for the future when we start doing planet-wide expeditions. So let's find a nice cozy spot for it. Okay, let's see. We definitely want to unlock this. It's going to allow us to build apartment buildings, which have more housing units per triangle than our home dwellings right now. And that'll be very important in the future. And even though there's no one working here, let's go ahead and get a crop roster lined up. Okay, so this increases sponsor research per day. So that's pretty important. Let's move crowdfunding down in the fungus farm. And this orbital probe upgrade can go to the bottom. And we're actually going to put the research booster on top, because that's going to be more beneficial in the long run for all of these. So we are going to have a building not working alert for every building that requires a worker. We just kind of have to ignore it for now. Looks like that anomaly's done. Go ahead and get our scan started and move her over back to base. Okay, Mr. Transport. Let's see if we can find something other than metal to stare at. Nope, more metal. By the way, it's so nice of our rover to pick up the metal chunks and form them into bars for our use. He worked hard on these. Like a mother bakes its cookies, the transport rover bakes its bars for us. So I think once the grocer is built, we'll order our first passenger rocket. And it looks like pretty much everything's just waiting on more concrete. And our transporter is full. Well, that one was empty. Luckily, this research stuff is in a nice wide open area. We'll be able to get a nice large dome in here with the whole dome having the research above. So we're definitely going to try and keep this space nice and empty. Now here we'll be able to plant a metal extractor in the future. It's not really a need because we've filled up our metal storage. And we want to unload everything. I guess just kind of hang out until we find something other than metal. And the scanner will let us know if it finds polymer. I'm sure you noticed in the corner it'll tell us things like metal and concrete were found in that sector. But for right now, we're good on metal. And luckily our power production plan is working out. It looks like it's running all night now. Okay, and our grocer's in place. So let's get a passenger rocket. And we can only have 12 to start. And let's make sure we have a nice spread of everyone. Now, if we hover over these roles here, it'll tell us specifics on the buildings we have that openings for these people. Now, geologists are used in extractors, which we don't really have. So let's get rid of any geologist applicants, which is completely broken because I think geologists would be definitely the forefront at some of the sciences on a real Mars colonization. But for the mechanics of this game, we need to maximize the production of the facilities we have. And engineers work in special production buildings. So we don't really have any of those right now, but they will help us make polymer in the future. But for right now, let's take them off our roster. Okay, we have 2 botanists. We need scientists. We don't want tourists. They'll leave at the end of the visit. And we want to focus on building our base right now. We don't have a lot of medics. Let's get another one of those. And let's get one more officer. Okay, that's looking good. Now in the future, we will be able to get larger colony loads on the passenger rocket. For the founder stage, it's only 12, and that'll end after a certain number of days have passed, or until our colonists have a Martian-born child. They'll only have the child if their needs are met and they're feeling very confident. Let's see where we are in our research. And I'm going to go ahead and start outsourcing research. It's where we pay money for a massive boost in research. And this will help speed along all of our research efforts. Those will only happen for a short amount of time. Rumor India has nearly completed a milestone. Research a breakthrough. So if we go over here into our research panel, there are these breakthrough research options that only become available during certain events or when you discover a certain object on the planet. We don't have any unlocked, so we can't really compete with them. So we're not going to worry about it. Good for India. Since the lag is so low, we're going to try to do a full 3-hour stream. Oh, research complete. All right, let's see what else we can get in here. Scientists and botanists have +10 performance when working in their specialty. Since we're focusing on scientists right now, let's go ahead and get this into second position. I think maybe even first. The low G can wait until we build a second dome. Okay, our landing pad just got finished. That's great. So it's auto-saving right now, but there's 2 new planet-wide alerts. So as well as our immediate area, there are things we can do around the planet. And these can range from getting resources, getting more research points, discovering new research items, getting a breakthrough, but these require people in some cases, so we're not going to focus on those. And since our refueling efforts are so painfully slow right now, these aren't really feasible. So let's go ahead and just focus on what we can work with right now. Now for our buildings, I am going to switch to specialty workers and non-specialist workers categories. That way people can have a satisfaction boost in the areas they work. Our colonists are here, so let's put that on hold for now. Yay, our first colonists are coming in. Okay, so this is the time frame we have set that we have to pass before we can get a full colony roster. And this is our message for our first boots on the ground. And then we had the first humans on Mars. So we got a nice little bonus for that. And there they go. Okay, we're gonna get in here and get to work. Now they do come with some food research to begin with, but we'll definitely need to get our own food production working. And there's a crop failure because no one was working there. Okay, let's just check our areas. And we're going to close off shifts for shifts that don't have enough people to work. Otherwise, we'll get a building not working message. Okay, and our first rocket is ready to go back. Let's send it off. Things are about to get really dusty. We launched the first rocket, so we got a nice little boost for that. And they're off. Whoop. Moisture evaporator is clipping into the world. It refuses to be touched by the dust. Okay, we got a new research finish. That's good. Our colonists are going to be happier for our botanists and scientists. We're not going to mess with this because it only affects engineers and geologists. We don't have any. Let's go ahead and just select the amplification research just to have something in the queue. It can remain at the bottom though. Okay. Let's also make sure the drones that came with this ship are reassigned. I'm going to assign most of them to our commander, just so it has its full roster. And then let's get any remainders. Over to our central hub. It doesn't look like it's letting me right now. We'll come back to it later. That would be absolutely terrifying if you were just standing in a place and the drone swarm came back home all at once. Now they look small over here, but if you catch one in the dome doing service, the drones are actually slightly bigger than the people, and that's how it would be. I don't think people realize how big the Mars Expedition rover is until they see the famous picture of it standing next to its engineers. They're quite large pieces of equipment. It's basically a space tank, but for science. Okay, we got some new research. We definitely need to put this one to the top. So you can demolish buildings, but not completely unless you have this researched. So we're going to move that to the top. Because later on, I may want to get rid of like this concrete extractor whenever this resource is depleted. And they do have only a set harvestable amount. So they're not a renewable resource. So eventually this will stop working just because there'll be nothing left to gather. And if we want to completely get rid of it, we need to have that demolition protocol thing researched. As you can see here, we've gotten the building not working icons due to workers. So we're just going to turn off the shifts so that there's no lack of maintenance on these shifts. Now we're doing good. We have 16 vacant residence slots and no one's jobless or homeless. So we're doing really good. And it looks like everything's well on its way. So the good news is, I think it's easier to keep these guys alive because they're not in the middle of the Ice Age. Next week when we go back to Diamond, I'm going to try starting shoe number 4 in a new area. I think the other area is just cursed. Okay, so we want this research to be at the top now. This makes the rockets require less fuel, and that's pretty significant. Let's get that up there. Yeah, so we're going to start shoe number 4, alternate universe 4 shoe, in a new area. I'm convinced the other area is just cursed. And it's definitely not that I'm bad at taking care of humans, and that I don't understand their needs. I totally understand humans and their needs. I'm such a good person parent. Look at how many persons I'm parenting. And they're alive. As you can see, there went a little rover, and he was basically the size of this shop. Let's check on food production. Looking good. We also need to check oxygen and water. We got some upgrades for them. So let's go ahead and boost them. Yeah, we've got enough polymers. So we're doing good on water production and doing really good on oxygen production. And we've got enough power stored. And we're making just slightly more than the demand, since this dome probably isn't going to change very much. I think we're doing really good. Now, I filled up this dome in all its corners, just because there's no way I'd get another dome down in this area due to its misshapen terrain. But when we get ready to put multiple domes together, we'll leave one of these corners vacant in each dome. That way we can connect a travel tube between the two. So when we go to build in this area, that's something we'll keep in mind. Let's see here, this unlocks the polymer factory. And we'll keep that kind of low. But maybe above these two. So mid-tier. Because we need fuel production plants before we can have polymer. It requires fuel and engineers to work. We don't really have that now, but it is an important resource to have in the future. So we'll just get it started. And it looks like our rocket's ready for takeoff, because now they only require 30 instead of 50 fuel. So get out of here. We will keep one rocket with us. We'll keep this rocket with us. The reason why is we can use it for planetary exploration here in a little bit. Our poor transporter's gotten dusty. Then we just kind of have to let things sort out themselves. A lot of this game is waiting for the next thing. But once we get out of the founder stage, we'll definitely be able to do plenty of more. Okay, our fungus is done being researched. Looks like we have a moisture evaporator upgrade. Let's definitely get that in here. Just checking our facilities. Everything's working fine. The maintenance is coming due, but we do have the materials for them. And our drones will automatically maintenance these buildings. Oh, it looks like the humans had a baby. Maybe. We'll see. Don't need an education building quite yet. Let's get the drones. So no, they were just celebrating producing food, which seems like an awfully normal habit to celebrate with fireworks. Well, what do I know? I photosynthesize. Maybe food is that big of a deal to humans. But that's good news for our colony. It looks like everything's off this ship, and it's pretty close to take it off. So let's get these drones over to our main controller. Okay, looking good. We're doing things, but not necessarily going places. By the way, I've never seen these guys run, but I do like that they have animations for some of the exercise equipment. It's always a nice touch. Here's a villager just enjoying our fountain. He's really thinking hard about life. Oh look! He was doing maintenance. Dancing with the veggies. In the dome under the Mars sky. Is there anything more romantic for a drone? And you can see in here, you can see colonists spending time in their houses as well. We're not going to dwell on it though. We're not creepers who peep into people's windows. Let's see what's going on with our map. Wrong map. Yeah, nothing much either. Look at him go! I wonder, can we follow this guy? We can. Looks like he's recharging. Always good to do so. He's so cute. What is it with humans putting eyes on everything? Everything's got to have a face. Go, little face droid, go! Oh. He just likes sitting next to the power collectors. Oh, the camera slightly rotates around him, too. No resources in that sector. It's just this little guy. We'll just follow him around until our next event. Do you think? Do you think he's thinking at all? Do drones dream of Mars? I've seen the Google Dreams, and they are incredible bits of nonsense. Delovians don't really sleep. They don't have dreams. It's weird to think that a bunch of organisms just sit around mildly hallucinating for a bit. Ooh, research. We definitely want this low G engineering to be higher. We'll put it at second. And it looks like our outsourcing research finished. So let's boost that. This low G engineering allows us to build bigger domes. And it also let us unlock some different shape domes. And that'll definitely be useful when we're setting up for more colonists. And this is ready to launch. We're going to keep it here though. Let's go ahead and look at the planet. And now that our field's a little more manageable, let's go ahead and get an expedition sent out. And they're off. It would have been interesting to see an animation from your colony flying over to the research site, but that's okay, I get it. That probably would have been a little difficult. We're doing great on resources. Everything's in the green. Okay, so this anomaly that was discovered during our planetary expedition just unlocked a bunch of stuff we can research in our panel. Ooh, Speedy Boys. We'll wait until the evaporator is done. And we'll definitely want to get this supportive community in there as well. And it looks like we're really meeting satisfaction requirements. Yeah, the comfort level isn't high enough for our colonists to have children yet. So we'll probably just reach the end of the founder stage in order to trigger the next set of events. Let's bring this back down. And we'll wait for it to get fueled up and ready for its next journey. So it's just a bunch of metal. We're going to get supportive community in here. And I've been putting these off for long enough. And they've got such a low research cost. So we'll just leave the order. Oh, they got cleaned. Oh, so pretty. Look at those textures. So nice. There's definitely a lot of visual interest that they put into the environment. I've only played with the terraforming a little on my last playthroughs. I don't think I've tried to turn these craters into lakes. I'm thinking it's not really a thing you can do, but that would have been really cool to just turn these into natural water pits. So we're doing really good. We're almost 2 hours in, and the stream seems to be doing quite well on the lag front. So I'm thinking a lot of the lag can be caused by the programs I'm running during the art and music streams. Low G engineering is done. See what we got. Ooh, carry 10 more columns. This is pretty good. But we're going to get sustainable architecture. We definitely want our buildings to have less maintenance. The goal is to reduce the resources taken to perform our day-to-day life. While increasing our production of resources ourselves. And I know the stream is still lagging, but it is much better than our first or second stream. Our first stream, I was not understanding that the uploading was still occurring and ended the stream too early. And our second stream, I knew better, but then it took over 5 hours to completely upload an hour and 40-minute stream. So yesterday we just stuck with an hour, and it seemed to be almost just a 3 to 5 minute lag. And today it seems to be a little more, about 5 to 8 minutes, but it's definitely doing much better. So we'll see on Monday if it's just completely abysmal. I may hold off on the creation streams until we have a better internet access, which is fine. I'll still stream. I'll just split the games we're playing into 2 days each, and we'll just hang out and play games. Now we can trade with China. They want metal for food, but we don't need food or we can get rid of our metal, but we don't really need food that bad. I think we're producing enough food to cover the cost of eating. If we were deficient in that area, I may consider it. Ooh, 2 researches just got done. Get some speedy boys. Sensor tower automation. We don't really need heaters. It doesn't get cold enough here. Turbine production increase. We definitely want compact passenger. We could unlock new hydro farms, but I think I'm going to wait until we have a second dome, and then we can have one of each spire taking care of the different foods. So that's looking good for now. Founder stage is almost over. Woo! So now we can bring in new colonists, and a new storyline will begin automatically. So let's see about getting a new passenger rocket. But first, let's pause and unlock our shifts. That way we can know the slots we need to have filled. Now we only have 16 housing slots. But we do have apartments researched. So let's get rid of these houses. And we'll replace those with an apartment building. Get this cleared. And there could only be one shift worked at the tower. So we only need one more botanist. Unless we want to get a... Yeah, let's get a fungus farm. Just go into life support. Get a nice fungal farm. And we want it to be close enough that they can get to it, but also close enough to the water production. And I think the door of the building is near the connections. Yeah, it's right there at the front. So we'll go with right here. And let's get some pipes put in. Yeah, this isn't going to be a good place after all. So it stops that. Give it a little more space. And then connect these. And demolition's done. Let's get an apartment. Let's check out the skins. I like this last one. We have all the resources for it to get built. So let's just go ahead and get our passengers. Let's go ahead and leave out engineers and geologists. We'll only need the one botanist. We do need plenty of no specialization. We need another officer. Let's filter them. And right now, no engineers, no geologists, no tourists. Okay. And it already auto-filled the slots. We don't need this many non-specialized individuals. Let's see about getting a medic. Definitely need an officer. And then, yeah, we'll have another non-specialized. So it's just saying that there's not enough residents, but that's okay. There will be no time they get here. He's using the forest to build a fungal farm. That would have been a really interesting Star Wars plot if the AIs could use the Force. But they did something dumb and like, no, the midichlorians. So now it's only limited to organic species that can have cells. Looking good. Now we got a gentleman working on the mushrooms. We'll keep the drones assigned to this. We're going to do a couple more expeditions once that gets up and running. It looks like this needs power, so let's get it hooked up. We're going to have it connected to its own power source. Two of the largest food chains have filled simultaneous requests to serve the colonists. Would you like diet soda with your triple burger? For free. Your only obligation is to make the colonists eat and supposedly enjoy the brand meals. Will be bio and organic. Food service buildings grant more comfort. Give Whack Ronald's permission. Will decrease cost of food import. Give permission to Burglar King. Reconstruction of food service building. And if we were oligarch, we could have had them all. We'll just choose the top one here. If we're trying to be self-sustaining, we can leave the other countries to select the brand deals. We're the ISS. And we're online. Mushrooms for the people. Okay, the research got done there. Let's see what kind of new researches we can get up to. This allows us to build drone hubs, so we'll definitely get that. Yep, and everything's going just fine. So I am checking the stream, and it is quite far behind right now. So it is just that we have been cursed by the internet gods. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and end it here. We will bring in our colonist in the next section and continue on our journey. But for now, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and save this. We'll save it under Space Friends. Okay, so that's all we're going to do for today. But thank you for coming and watching. And if you're watching this in the future, thanks for watching as well. And that's where we're going to end it on today. So thank you guys, and we'll see you later. Have fun, space friends. Bye.